Hi, this is Jason Gordo here with a book review. Today's book we're reviewing today, The Day of the Jackal by Frederick Forsyth. This was first published by Hutchinson and Co. on June 7th, 1971. Then it was published by Viking in August of 71. This edition is from Magdalen, December 1980. This is a really good thriller. I read this book a very long time ago when I was starting to collect books. This is years ago, I went to Valley Village on Lenny's Lane, and when I was looking through the thriller action section, I saw a bunch of Frederick Forsyth novels, and the covers caught my attention, and then on the back, you can see here, The Day of the Jackal. His mission, kill President Charles de Gaulle, his codename Jackal, his price $500,000. He has to demand total secrecy, even from his own employers. Like, when I read the synopsis on the back, it's like, ooh, this sounds really interesting, so I'm glad I picked these books out and read them, as I really enjoyed them. It was fun reading this thriller again. The Jackal is probably one of my favorite characters created by Frederick Forsyth, a very smart, deadly, cutting assassin who is skilled at what he does. And then you got the second main character, LaBelle, a high-skilled detective who's been assigned to track down the Jackal and prevent him from carrying the assassination. It's very interesting to read the both sides that this book follows, as it's such a really intense good thriller, and I overall enjoyed it. There were some scenes that I felt were done better in the film, and some scenes I kind of liked better in the book than in the film, but I'll explain that later on in my review. But overall, this was a really good book, and if you haven't heard this novel, I highly recommend you check out Day of the Jackal. Alright, on to the book review. Plot: a right-wing terrorist group, OAS, secret army organization, formed after many soldiers, officers, and colonels felt betrayed by their president Charles de Gaulle after giving Algeria, a once French-occupied country, its independence in the early 60s, as many men were killed during the Algerian War. On August 22nd, 1962, Colonel Jean-Marie, along with a small squad of OAS members, awaits to ambush de Gaulle with submachine guns. Once they get a phone call that the President Charles de Gaulle is on his way, Jean-Marie waves a newspaper at his men with two speeding black Citroen DS down the road, along with two motorcycles. The men open fire at the black sedan, but not a single bullet hits their target, and he escapes unharmed along with his wife and other passengers. Within 6 months, on March 11, 1963, Colonel Jean-Marie and several other OAS members are arrested and tried, with two of them being executed by firing squad. Meanwhile, in Austria, Lieutenant Marc Rodin is outraged by this failed attempt and believes French citizens have given up on them. Marc, along with those close to him, André Cassin, René Montclair, all bitter towards de Gaulle as they have lost friends during the war. René lost his own son. Refusing to give up, the three men agree that the only way to kill President de Gaulle is to hire an assassin, an outsider who can move in and out of France without being wanted by police, since they won't know he's working for the OAS. René begins looking for a highly skilled and deadly assassin. After going through the files, he narrows it down to 4, with Marc, René, and Cassin agree with one assassin, an Englishman, and plan to meet him in Vienna. The Englishman appears as he's sharply dressed, has blonde hair, blue eyes, in his mid-30s, and is in very good shape. He reveals what he already knows about the OAS. Impressed, Marc explains they want to hire him to assassinate President Charles de Gaulle. They want to know if it's possible. The Englishman replies it is, but their target is heavily guarded and has the best security, and it doesn't help that there's leaks within the organization. Doing the job is easy, however getting away with it is difficult, and if they want their target dead, it's going to cost them a lot. Marc asks what his price is, to which the Englishman replies $500,000. The first half to pay for the contract, and the other half after he's done. Marc and the others gasp at his price, with Cassin asking them where they're going to get it. The Englishman replies to use their networks and rob banks to pay if they can't, then there's nothing more to be said. Desperate, Mark agrees to pay the Englishman's price. He asks how many know about this assassination plot. Only the 4 of them. He wants it to be kept that way, and any files, documents, or letters are to be destroyed. The planning will be his, and they won't hear from him until they pay the first half of his contract and writes his bank account number in Switzerland, along with his contact number in London. Once he receives his money, he'll move and only asks for a contact number to call them for updates into Gaul's plan, but the contact must not know who he is. Mark agrees to his plan and asks what codename will he use. The Englishman replies, "Since we've been talking about hunting, why not the Jackal?" Mark accepts the codename and begins robbing a series of banks, jewelry stores, and post offices from June into July in order to get the first half of the Jackal's payment. While waiting, the Jackal begins planning out his assassination by studying everything he can about his target, Charles de Gaulle, along with stealing 2 passports. A Danish and American, getting hair dye products along with using a false name, Alexander Duncan. When he gets a phone call that his first half of payment has been sent to his bank account, he travels to Brussels, Belgium to meet a gunsmith and a document forger. First, he visits the gunsmith. The Jackal explains how the rifle must work, along with it being able to disassemble easily, along with having a high-powered scope, silencer, no trigger guard, and a removable trigger. The Jackal also wants a series of tubes to be able to hide all the parts of the rifle so he can easily carry it without anyone finding it. The gunsmith will do it. The Jackal pays him and warns him not to tell anyone about this job or he'll silence him. The Jackal then visits the document forger as he requires a French document along with a fake driver's ID. The forger will do it again. He pays him and warns the forger not to tell anyone about the job and to destroy the photo negatives. The Jackal finishes up by buying pieces of clothing in order to disguise himself during the job, along with scouting out areas in Paris to find the perfect spot to assassinate his target. Meanwhile, the OAS sends in a female agent, Jacqueline Dumas, who lost her husband during the Algerian War. Her handler wants Jacqueline to get close to one of the top men of de Gaulle to send information to both the OAS and the Jackal. Several days later, the Jackal returns to Brussels to pick up his rifle and fake documents. Upon seeing the custom-made sniper rifle, the Jackal is very impressed with the gunsmith's work. He gives 6 .22 rounds converted into explosive tips and standard .22 rounds to try out. After paying the gunsmith, the Jackal then visits the forger, but as he's getting the documents, he notices something is missing. The forger tries to blackmail the Jackal by paying him more to keep his silence and to hand over the negatives. The Jackal lies he'll pay him, but wishes to meet the forger somewhere else. He ensures the Jackal this area is safe and only has people he wants to come over, then tells him a sex joke. As the Jackal laughs along with the forger, then the Jackal strikes him and kills him. Hiding the body in a trunk, takes what he needs, then leaves to a hotel in Nice where he's staying at. The next day, the Jackal goes to an open field to try out the sniper rifle. He uses a melon he bought and paints a face on it, then places it into a net bag and hangs it up on a tree with a hunting knife. The Jackal tries his sniper rifle and fires several shots till he has zeroed the sights, then tries one of the explosive tip bullets. It blows the melon to pieces. Pleased, the Jackal returns to the gunsmith and pays his final half, then leaves. During this time, the French authorities are aware the OAS are up to something as they send men to capture Victor Kowalski, the bodyguard for Mark. While doing his mailing duties, the French agents are able to track down Victor and ambush him in an apartment. However, Victor fights back, wounding one agent by shooting him in the knee with his .45 Colt pistol, but is overpowered and knocked out. They smuggle him back to France, where Victor is tortured for hours till he reveals clues about the assassin. The French Minister of the Interior, Roger Frey, believes the OAS is planning to assassinate Charles de Gaulle. However, they don't have much to go on than his code name, the Jackal. Roger has a meeting with the French secret authorities. He informs them that the president wants this whole thing kept secret from the public, but they must do everything in their power to find this assassin. It's too risky to raid the hideout of the OAS as it's heavily guarded with heavily armed men, and with no evidence to go on, they can't do much as they don't have a name or a face. The police judicature believes they can find the Jackal by using the best detective and knows the man for the job, Commissioner Claude Rebel. Lebel is called into the meeting right away and shows up as he sits between a bunch of powerful figures within the room. Roger gives him a copy of the file and explains what he wants LaBelle to do and is given full power on handling this case. However, he must report his findings to Roger and the French authorities to keep them updated. And should he fail in capturing the Jackal, it will cost him his job. After leaving, LaBelle's boss wants him to drop any case he's got, as this is top priority and anything he wants will be brought to him. LaBelle will keep the office he works in, but asks to have his partner, Lucien Karen, as his assistant. His boss agrees and assigns Karen to aid him. When LaBelle's assistant shows up, LaBelle explains how they'll handle this case. They'll use the Old Boy network, having phone lines connected to foreign intelligence and police contacts to inquire any records on a political assassin, along with the aid from law enforcement to track down the Jackal. LaBelle begins setting up his office to have beds, shaving, and showering items, along with a coffee maker, as they're going to be spending a lot of hours in the office. The Jackal has returned to London to pick up his things, but as he leaves, his phone is ringing as Jacqueline the spy has learned the French authorities are aware of the Jackal. However, they don't know what he looks like at the moment. Mark tries to call off the hit, but it's too late. The Jackal has left London, taking a flight to Brussels. He retrieves the sniper rifle, then goes to Italy, where he'll use a rented car to drive to France. LaBelle and Karen waste no time going through all the evidence and clues they can find, while most are dead ends, but begin to follow a trail of the Jackal. However, it seems the man they are after is always one step ahead of them. With the aid of Scotland Yard and other authorities, they are able to find a lead on the Jackal, fake ID and passport, but just as they close in on his last location, he's already gone. Roger believes LaBelle has failed them and wants someone else to take over him, but LaBelle states he can still find the Jackal. Roger asks anyone to take over from LaBelle, but nobody stands up. Roger allows LaBelle to stay on the case. As the days go by in August, with more clues turning up and suspecting a spy among the high-ranking members of French military and following a trail of dead bodies back to Paris, LaBelle believes he knows what day the Jackal will strike on the 25th, Liberation Day, the only day where de Gaulle is out in public. However, they still have to find him, as nobody knows what the Jackal looks like, as he's been able to disguise himself. Tired of having little sleep, LaBelle won't stop until he finds the Jackal. Can he stop the assassination from happening, or has the Jackal already won? The Day of the Jackal is an excellent thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat right to the very end. Highly detailed, with heavily layered cast of characters, many interesting locations within the story, short yet brutal moments of violence, with the last act of the novel getting intense with the moment of assassination. I really like the Jackal, a very handsome, smart, yet deadly man who is skilled in what he does, plans every inch of his plan to ensure he succeeds, and won't hesitate to kill anyone who threatens his mission or gets in his way. Bell was another interesting character who I liked following throughout the novel, trying to track down and capture the Jackal. He even admits how clever this assassin is, but won't allow him to escape him easily. The pacing was good, no scenes that slowed down the story or dragged on. It was interesting to follow both sides of the characters working with the law and those who were working against it. Out of the adaptations made of this novel, I prefer the original Day of the Jackal with Edward Fox and Michael Lonsdale. Both lead actors are great in the film, very well shot with a solid cast of actors. While there are some scenes I liked more in the film than in the novel, and a few changes I didn't mind, but overall both the novel and original film are good. However, don't bother with the American remake or the Peacock TV series, as it heavily alters from the original plot and changes the whole story around. If you're looking for a good novel about an assassin or enjoy 70s thrillers, then this novel is for you. That's the review today. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I had a lot of fun reading this thriller again. It's been so many years since I last read it, so I decided it was time to pull it out and read it again. As I said, the Jackal is one of my favorite characters. Very smart, cutting, and deadly, and very good looking as well. He goes into great lengths to plan his mission out carefully and ensures that nobody will interfere with his mission, and if anyone threatens the mission, he won't hesitate to kill them, as he's very skilled at dispatching people very quickly and quietly. I also liked following the LaBelle character. He was another interesting person within the novel, who's very determined and refuses to give up easily, and knows every trick to pull to ensure he'll he'll gain a lead on the person he's after, and will even spy on those who hired him when he suspects that one of them is not telling him the truth, or suspects one of them is working against him. So that was another interesting character. There was other characters I liked in the novel, and other characters I didn't. But overall, I really enjoyed following these characters within the story. I like the locations the novel takes place in: London, France, Italy, Belgium, and a few others. And I really enjoyed the rich detail within the story, as Richard Forsyth is excellent with his detail. He describes every scene out in short yet rich detail, which made it very easy to follow the story, where it's taking place and what the characters are doing, what they look like and stuff. So that I enjoyed. The pacing is good. There's no scenes that drag on too long or felt out of place. And there was there was a few scenes that I kind of liked more in the film over the novel, but overall, they're both, in my opinion, both the original film and the novel are both good. There's nothing really that makes them that makes one better than the other. In my opinion, they're both good. Yeah, I also like the gunsmith character, a person that makes the Jackal his custom-made sniper rifle, which is very interesting. When the Jackal assembles it together, and then he goes to try it out later. I enjoyed that scene as well. The one thing about this novel, like, it does have a lot of action, but when violence erupts, it's always short and brutal every time, and I enjoyed every moment of that. And this novel is very dark over the film, which the film kind of lightened some of the scenes down, and I was actually surprised, but there was some swearing in the novel. I didn't expect that much, but there's quite some swearing in the book, and there's this one line that towards the end I was reading, and it just made me laugh. It wasn't like a courting line, but it was just like one of those weird lines. It's like, what what kind of line is this? It was funny just to read that one line. The ending I really enjoyed. It's very intense as you're getting closer to the end of this book, and you're just turning away the pages to see how the finale ends. I won't spoil it, but it's a really damn good one. Yeah. So overall, it was I enjoyed the novel. As for the adaptation of this book, there's a few. My personal favorite is the original 1973 film, The Day of the Jackal, with Edward Fox and Michael Lonsdale, directed by Hans Zimmerman. This is a very well made film. The acting is great in it. It's very well shot. There's some scenes I felt that were improved from the novel. With one scene that I kind of felt it was kind of a little corny. My father agree with me with it, and I just joke with him. The Jackal just basically gave this one character the kiss of death. So that's the way I always said that scene. But he and I do agree it was kind of a little corny for this one scene. I'm not going to go into detail with that. You have to see that for yourself. Yeah, the original film falls very true to the book. Makes a few changes, but in my opinion, as I said, both the novel and the original film are both good to me. There's nothing that kind of outweighs the other. Like, they're both good. So that's up to you to decide which you prefer, the book or the film. However, the other adaptations of Day of the Jackal I do not like. There's the American remake from the 90s with Bruce Willis. That one completely alters the whole story and changes a lot around with it, and I heard that one was not good. And then, as I was reading, when I picked out Day of the Jackal to read, I was seeing on my computer ads for this new TV series called The Day of the Jackal, and it's like, they're going to turn this into a TV series. I watched it, and I was not impressed with what I saw. I had a feeling that they're going to update the story to a modern setting, and not only did they did that, but I thought, well, that's the only way I could see it, because if they were to do a remake that's set in the 60s, it would pretty much be like the original film all over again. So what would the point of that be? So I thought, okay, a modern setting, they could make it interesting. I don't know, but as I'm watching this trailer, as I'm watching the trailer for this TV series, I do not like the way they done it. It looks more like an action show than a thriller, and there were some parts that I felt were kind of similar to the Killer, the David Fincher film that's based off the graphic novel of the same name. When I was watching the trailer for this TV show, it reminded me a lot of the Killer, like very same thing. Like basically, you got an assassin who's um, kills people with different methods and stuff, and it just felt like a TV adaptation of the Killer than the Day of the Jackal. And there were some other things that they changed around from the story of what I was reading, and I was just not impressed with it. To me, it's like, if you were to remake The Day of the Jackal, first of all, why? The original is perfect the way it is, but to try to get, younger people to see it, okay, remake it with a modern setting, with a new young cast of characters to get people interested in, but it's just the whole thing was kind of changed around too much, and I guess they're trying to add something, trying to make it a little more different from the original, but I just wasn't impressed with the TV show. So I highly recommend the original Day of the Jackal with Edward Fox. It's an excellent film. You can get it on Blu-ray, which I have a nice Arrow edition, and it's really great to watch this 70s classic on Blu-ray. You get to see like France, London, Italy, and like back in the 70s and stuff. It's a really well made film, even though it's set in the 60s, but it's a very well shot film. Alright, that's the review today. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll definitely be doing more Frederick Forsyth novels on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and please don't forget to subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel where I post book reviews, book hauls, and art fiction related content. Until then, I'll catch you later.